Scotland 2025 season review. As we look forward to the Six Nations, let's have a look back at Scotland's 2025 season and we'll give it a grade A, B, C, or D. You guys can let me know your thoughts. It ain't going to be an A. That is for sure. We'll have a look through the squad and the record and a key kind of stat or two. And as I said, you guys let me know your thoughts. They started the year 2025 sixth in the world, marginally ahead of the teams below them, chasing for that sixth spot, which was the cutoff point for the Rugby World Cup draw. You wanted to be a top six side, and Scotland finished ninth. Ninth. So they had a bit of a dropped 83.34 to 80.22, so lost pretty much 3 points in the Rugby World Rankings, which is not very good. It's not what you want to be dropping like that in the world rankings. How did they get there? Well, it's based on their record. Six Nations. Scotland kind of finished the best of the rest. France, England, and Ireland were the three best teams with their 4-win, 1-loss records. Scotland lost to all of them. Beat Wales and Italy. So, again, best of the rest. Losing to Ireland again burns, especially at home. Losing to England after such a good recent record over them, 16-15, that had to burn, although it was away from home, and England ended up having a pretty good year. And then, the potential to be that banana skin team against France, but no, beaten 35-16. So, as I said, best of the rest. You beat the teams you were expected to beat and lost to the teams you were expected to lose to. So there's no kind of real highlight moment here. It's just fine. Even Wales gave you a bit of a scare. So nothing really startling about the Six Nations campaign from Scotland. Then we get the July internationals, which is an interesting period because Scotland are actually without a chunk of the squad because they're Lions, more so than usual, which is a testament to the position Scottish rugby is in. And then they have a game against the Māori All Blacks, which is maybe the biggest highlight of the year because it's a very much second string Scottish squad comes to New Zealand and beats the Māori All Blacks, which is not, there's no joke. The Māori All Blacks have got a pretty good record at home. 29-26. Now, there's no world rankings points for beating the Māori All Blacks, but it was certainly a bit of good depth building. I felt like that one was a cracker. But then it's followed up by the big game against Fiji, which in terms of that sixth spot in the world rankings was a massive task. And again, without their Lions, they go to Fiji and they lose. After an early lead, they lose 29 points to 14. Fiji are genuinely very good at home. So very few teams tour Fiji at all. So the fact that Scotland went there, kudos to you guys. But you would have liked to get a bit closer than 29-14. Especially after initially leading. So that one's a big disappointment. And then they beat Samoa at Eden Park. So it's a win at Eden Park, which is something not many teams can get, apart from the ABs. But 41-12 at Eden Park, it's an expected result. So the Māori All Blacks one I do think is a bit of a highlight. But again, there's no world rankings points for that. Then we get to November, and they smash the USA and Tonga at the kind of bookends of the November period. And remember, without every player being available as well. Against USA, they had to field the only Edinburgh and Glasgow guys. Then you get the two games in the middle, New Zealand and Argentina. If you beat New Zealand, it'd be a historic year, no matter everything else that happened before, because it'd be your first ever win over the ABs. But it's 25-17 against an All Blacks side, which just quietly, and I'm an All Blacks fan, hasn't been looking the best. They've been kind of there for the taking at times by teams this year. Record loss to the Springboks, first ever loss on Argentinian soil and whatnot. So teams have had us at times. Not Scotland for this one. And then the Argentina one has to be the most disappointing result. Because it was your last chance to get potentially back in the top six. You would have had to smash Argentina and then hope England beat Argentina the next week. England did end up beating Argentina, and you were smashing Argentina. You were 21-0 up and ended up losing 33-24. That one was brutal. Brutal. So, as much as it's nice to beat the USA and Tonga, a win in either of those games might have been nice. The squad definitely got some depth built in it this year, and people have talked about the fact that Gregor has been good at, recruiting players and using players who can cover multiple positions. That's a good thing about this squad. You've got guys like, Matt Fagerson can cover the entire back row. You've got many backline players who can cover wing or midfield, like Jamie Doby can cover the wing and halfback. Like, there's a bunch of guys like that. There's versatile utility players who can cover multiple positions, which is good. You do need a bit of specialization as well. It's a fine balance, but he's not going to run out of players anytime soon, which is a good bit of depth building. But geez, you would have liked, like, the Aussies had a terrible season, but at least they beat the Box at Ellis Park. Like, the Pumas season wasn't all roses, but they beat the All Blacks for the first time in Argentina. They beat the British and Irish Lions. They had that kind of that game. Scotland does not have that game, unless you count the Māori All Blacks one, which I don't feel like is enough. You beat the teams you were supposed to beat, and like the 50-50 games or the underdog games did not win. Stats-wise, there's lots of defenders beaten from Scotland. They are a fun team to watch. You guys know I love you, and I love watching you play. You're one of my favorite teams to watch. And it's not just against tier 2 teams either. You guys genuinely bust a lot of tackles generally, and you love chucking the ball around. Like, Ireland used to be the team that would top 200 passes a game with their high recycle ball rate. You guys pass the ball more than Ireland these days. You guys are 192 passes a game. Ireland are 180. You got very similar numbers to New Zealand like this. We love chucking the ball around too. So I'm feeling the love, the connection. I hate to say this, but maybe you don't kick enough. You kick a similar amount to Fiji. The way the game is being played these days, sides that kick more tend to win more. So maybe you need to get a little bit more boring, but I love you the way you are. But if we're doing a results-based business, I think we have to go with a D. I think it's a failed year in that there's not any... Like, there's no one where you kind of exceeded expectations. If anything, there were a few games which were below expectations. I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh. I think I've pretty much passed everybody else. You had your moments, but the results, man, the results in 2025 just weren't there. Dropped from 6th to 9th in the world. Lost to Fiji, lost to Argentina, lost to New Zealand, lost to England. Anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts. Do you want Scotland to kick a bit more? Or just keep doing what they're doing? I'm on holiday, which is why I'm talking about this currently. It's like, 27th of December? So it's well in advance, pre-recorded. But by the time I get back to New Zealand, this video will be, I guess, relatively freshly uploaded. And yeah, we can talk about the Six Nations, which will, fingers crossed for Scotland, be better than 4th. But anyway, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Ta-ra.